Hello, this is Patrick from XPression, and I'd like to introduce you to some new hardware options and software functionality and options for XPression Maps 3.2 and higher. Normally, XPression Maps Designer, and this is what you're looking at now, is used to create graphics for your video productions, and normally a graphic artist will work with you to create your maps content, and they'll create a flattened file, which could be in the form of a still file like a JPEG, a PNG, or a TIFF, a Targa, or it could be an animated file, a QuickTime movie, an XPression video codec movie, a couple other different file formats. And then you take those and you put them into your production, whether they're edited or they're coming into your production as part of the production itself, embedded into templates for XPression. Well, we have some customers that have asked us for the ability to do real-time playout, and in order to do that, we needed to create some hardware. So we're introducing now a one rack unit engine that we're calling XPression Maps Engine. And this has slightly different hardware than the rest of the XPression platform, but when you look at it from the front, it looks identical. It's a one rack unit engine. If you look at the back of the system, you'll notice that there's a slightly different video card in here from some of the other video products that we create. And in this system, there is an HA Corvid 24 card with 5 video ports. Port 1 is for the video output. Port 2 is for the alpha or key signal output. Ports 3 and 4 are for video input signals to be used for XPression Maps, and then port 5 is used for your Genlock, your Blackburst or tri-level sync. Now what this allows you to do is do real-time production within your video studios, and it allows you to do a couple of other things. I'm going to show you quickly how you go ahead and set those up, and we'll talk in another video about how you really focus and use some of these tools. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do File, Preferences, and you'll notice if you have the Video I/O option on your system, you'll notice there's another tab now called Video I/O, and when I click on it, you can see I've got 2 main sections and there's a couple subsections. The top section is Video Output. Now, up here you're going to see that there's a checkbox for Enable, and if I enable that, that will now take whatever is happening in my viewport and send it to the output of my XPression Maps engine. And by default, we're going to be using frame buffer 1 or output 1 on the back of your card. And again, I'm showing a slightly different card here, but on your card it will say Corvid 24. If I enable key or the alpha channel, that will come out the next available port, which would be FB2. So on the back of your system, port 2 is your alpha, port 1 is your video connector. You'll notice you also have on my system here, you're showing my reference. I'm using free run. You could use reference signal 1. You could also lock this to incoming video. So if I was to do that, my incoming video is going to be frame buffer 3, but you would normally probably lock it to your reference on this system, so it would probably look like that. I don't have reference because I'm working in my office, so I'm going to leave mine as free run, but I'll leave this set for you. You can use this also. You can have some test patterns in here so you can see what the output looks like, and this allows you to do this workflow in case you want to check this system to see how it looks and do some system timing. And again, those are done with the AJA tools, not so much within this user interface. I'm going to turn that off for now. I'm also going to disable these 2 pieces, and I'm going to set mine to free run because I'm not using a sync generator in my office. The next section down in video output, I could also generate NDI rather than a hardware frame buffer. So if I choose to do that, I would enable that. I would give it a name, and you would find it on your network with your NDI tools as the computer name dash whatever you put here for the stream name. So I'm leaving mine as Maps NDI Stream. If I select Send Alpha, it will also send the alpha signal. It's depending on how you're configuring whether it's embedded in the original signal or if you're going to be getting a discrete signal for that. So I'm going to turn those off. The next thing coming down is video input. So I'm going to come down here and I can choose from disabled, which means none of them are being used for that particular input, and I'm going to choose one of them for SDI. And my first port available is my input port, which is frame buffer 3. And again, you notice on all of these, we're using a 3-frame buffer so that we have a proper cache so that we get solid frames coming in and out of the box. I could also choose NDI as a signal, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But right now, I'm just going to leave SDI as one of my signals. I'm going to click Save and choose OK. Now, here's where the benefit of this comes in. I'm going to do this really quickly, and I'll do a separate video on all these functions in here. But I've got a video input here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over to my drawing toolbox in XPression Maps Designer, and I'm going to choose interactive to place mine. And I could put them anywhere, but that's just where I chose to. I'm going to click on New Drawing, and when the Drawing Management Editor window comes up with the new drawing type, I'm going to choose Video Input, and that automatically opens up the dialog box. I'm going to change the name of it to SDI Input 1. I'm going to choose from the General tab, Input 1, because again, I'll have 2 inputs here. Basically, I can have up to 4 but right now we show 8 in the menu, but you're theoretically only getting up to 4. I'm going to leave the rest of this alone for the moment. I'm going to click Done. And now if I come to the bottom of my window, I'm going to see that there are now an additional drawing tool in interactive. And I'm going to drag that off onto my map. I'm going to right click off of it and come back to it and left click again and choose the corner so that I can drag and scale that out. Now I told you earlier that I'd show you how to set up an NDI source. So let's go set it up. File, Preferences, Input 2. I'm going to enable by choosing NDI, and when I see that, I'll see a list of my NDI capable sources. So I'm going to choose NDI HX camera because that's an application I have on my iPhone. So when I do that, I'm going to come over and choose New from my drawing toolbox. I'm going to choose Video Input, and again I put that as Input 2, so when I choose Input 2 here, I'm going to call this one NDI Source. So I have that there. I'm going to come down and I'm going to just drag it onto my map. I'm going to right click off of it, then left click to choose and scale, and you can see there is my camera. So that's how I put an NDI signal in and an SDI signal in into the XPression Maps engine with the Video I/O option.